So before you apply to optometry school, plan out which optometry schools you can see yourself at, which residencies you can see yourself at, what kind of practice you can see yourself at, and then start reaching out to people who are living that life now. Some of you watching this video right now should not be applying to optometry school, and some of you should be thinking about your future a little bit more seriously, even if optometry is still what you want to do. I'll never forget one of the last experiences I had shadowing an optometrist. This was right during COVID. I didn't have a lot of experience shadowing a diverse population of optometrists, and so I decided I wanted to schedule a phone call with an optometrist who worked at a VA hospital. And during this phone call, it was about a 2-hour conversation that he was able to have with me, which I was super grateful for. And we talked about everything, about his scope of practice, about how he liked it, everything like that. And we ended the conversation off with something like this. So, are you sure you really want to do optometry? Just because he got to know me a little bit more and I have other passions. And I said, yeah, I'm really sure I want to do this, I think. And I asked him, looking back, would you become an optometrist again? And he said, absolutely not. I would have become an accountant. I would have gone into finance. And that caused me to reflect a lot. Because this guy who I'm shadowing to see if I want his job doesn't even want his job. He said, get out of this as soon as you can kind of thing. And I was a little discouraged because I'm about to go into this thing. I was about to apply to optometry schools. This is one of the last things that I was adding onto my application to make it strong and beefy. And he just told me to basically run. And now I'm not telling all of you to run, but I am telling you to reconsider your future a little bit more than you might be doing right now. Because I know right now that I still have some conflicting interests. I'm trying to study hard in school, but I also love making videos and making TikToks and helping coach optometry students to get into an optometry school. And so it's hard when I can be doing good and helping people now and having to put off doing more of that to sacrifice and study now and, for grades that aren't even rewarding. I'm not doing as hot in optometry school as I thought. But that's just going to show that anytime we take now stopping and planning for our future will get us further towards where we want to be in the long run. And let me tell you what I learned most from that optometrist I shadowed. Now, I was able to stop and think why I wanted to be an optometrist. Why I wanted to be an optometrist came first and foremost from my desire to solve complex problems. I thought growing up I would not be a doctor because I hated blood and guts. And so I said I'd be an engineer because I love solving complex problems, I love that moment where everything clicks and you're able to just, solve a problem. It was super rewarding. And it clicked for me when I first worked at an optometry practice, especially as a vision therapist, where every patient that came in was like a puzzle and you're able to fit the pieces together, solve a problem, and in a real way help someone else. And so I was able to combine certain passions I had and certain, propensities I had for helping people, solving problems, hating blood and guts, and being entrepreneurial, having my own business. All of those things kind of came together in one in optometry, where I could own my own practice, help people, solve their problems, and, get some one-on-one time with the patients. And so optometry really fit together for me, and so I ultimately still became an optometrist, even though that doctor told me not to. But let's go and step into his shoes. Right now, he's at a VA hospital. And practicing in a hospital setting, you don't get to make the rules. You are ultimately, when you work in a hospital system, you're a part of a big, big company, and you're a cog in a machine of a company that tries to help as many people as they can each day. And so in a VA hospital, you're working with sick veteran patients who are mostly geriatric and old, and a lot of doctors, their signature is the most, revenue producing thing that they have. And so he said he was basically just doing paperwork all day. And if you were just stuck doing paperwork and on Excel sheets and whatever on the computer all day anyway, he He said he might have just not gone to school for 4 years and just have been, doing spreadsheets for finance. And so think about what kind of optometrist you want to be if you're applying to optometry school now. Are you going to be an optometrist who owns their own business, who still is seeing patients and having that patient time, but you can be in charge of your schedule and you can really, create your own business? Are you going to be the optometrist that work for someone else, where they're doing the risky business creating kind of stuff, but you get to do all the patient care that you love doing? Are you going to be an optometrist that is a cog in the system because the only reason you want to be it is to be a doctor and have that kind of stuff? Moral of that story is you might not like being an optometrist if you don't end up practicing the way you envision yourself practicing. And so the decisions you make right now as you apply to optometry school, make connections in optometry school, and go get a job after can decide your entire life career as an optometrist. Think about the specialties there are. Think about the residencies you could do and envision your life as an optometrist now. Because if you don't spend time envisioning what your life would be like now, you'll have a harder time when life just happens to you. You didn't really take control of it because you didn't know what decisions to make. And all of a sudden you're doing something where you think, I could have been doing this anyway. And you're just stuck. Now, I'm not making this video to tell you that I don't want to be an optometrist anymore. But I am making this video to say I'm not being an optometrist just to get the privilege of seeing patients and prescribing things to help their eye condition. I'm being an optometrist because I love helping people and I love solving problems, and I want to do it in a way where I can interact with people and help them one-on-one. And so I am going to create my life and make it look like how I want it to look like. I can take those things that I love and create my life and take steps right now to network with the people who have the life I want to have and be able to, more or less just create that life. I can still make videos, help people, and be an optometrist at the same time. You are the captain of your ship, and wherever you steer it will go. And so if you're not steering, you're just gonna end up going wherever the wind takes you. And optometry school is really windy. And second year, schedule's been blowing around and I haven't been able to have the time that I want to devote to things that I love, like YouTube. And I just want you to not lose sight of that and decide now what you want your future to look like and start fighting for that now. Because the wind and the busyness of optometry school is gonna blow some ships over. Maybe they failed out or maybe they lost interest. But a lot of people will get blown around by the wind of optometry school and end up realizing, hopefully before they're 70, 80, working at a VA hospital as an optometrist who doesn't really want to do this anymore, that they never wanted to be an optometrist to begin with. Now, if you do want to be an optometrist, and I know almost everybody in optometry school has done a lot of thinking about doing this. And so the thing I want you to just make sure you do is be very intentional about your future. So before you apply to optometry school, plan out which optometry schools you can see yourself at, which residencies you can see yourself at, what kind of practice you can see yourself at, and then start reaching out to people who are living that life now. And I promise you that you will have the life that you love and will learn to love the life that you will have. Thank you for watching to the end of the video. I do want to invite all of you guys, if you do have questions or are thinking about this, go ahead and shoot me an email, message me on Instagram. I'm here to respond and I love helping you guys out. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.